Welcome to The Young and the Restless. I'm Zach.
I'm Olivia.
And I'm Victor. And this is the podcast that skittles the rules.
Now I lay me down to sleep. I dreamt I had a soul to keep. And if I die before I wake, will that dream just go on for its own sake?
You guys hear about that woman who died from drinking like 2 bottles of water?
That was like 4 bottles of water.
It was the equivalent of 4 small bottles of water. It was like 2 large. Anyway, she got water poisoning.
So 2 or 4, that seems like a normal amount of water.
Yeah, and it was within 20 minutes.
Oh. Water poisoning? Is that the term for it?
Yeah. Water toxicity, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Not drowning?
No, because it fucks with the salt content in your body and makes your brain swell and like kills you. It's scary.
Is that the same thing as when the term waterlogged? Or is that just something we said in where I grew up?
No, waterlogged is a thing, but it's like something that's been like in water, like sitting in water, gets like water in it and weighing it down.
Well, yeah, that too. But I remember, like as a kid, other kids saying, "Oh, don't drink too much water; you'll get waterlogged."
Maybe I haven't heard of that term being used that way.
Yeah, it was probably just a backwoods northern Maine thing, just like a reappropriation of an existing word.
Yeah, but they're probably talking about water toxicity. Yeah.
You know what? Was she in a water drinking contest? Why did she do that?
I think she was just thirsty. It was hot.
Yeah, it was the 4th of July. She was 35. And she was boating and then felt severely dehydrated and then drank 4 bottles of water in less than 30 minutes. And it caused her brain to swell up to the point that her blood supply was lost in her brain. And that killed her.
Man, that's so sad.
Did the heat have anything to do with it? I feel like I could easily take down. Are these like 12-ounce bottles?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I could easily
like
drink
regular.
4 of those in
You can't.
in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I guess she drank half a gallon in like 20 minutes, which is too much.
Half a gallon.
I don't know.
I've definitely taken out.
But it's like if you drank it if you drank like Gatorades that fast, it wouldn't be the same problem. Like you have to drink, like if you're drinking something that actually replaces your electrolytes.
No, I don't know about
Not to
that.
tell you that you should just drink Gatorade instead. That's what I was seeing, actually.
Nope.
That's what you were seeing?
Yeah.
Nobody go out and field test any of this. But
Yeah.
I've definitely woken up thirsty and like drank 2 pints of water, like 2 pint glasses back to back in like less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, I've done that.
So
That must be a safe amount.
32 ounces. That's like getting close to what she did. But maybe like waking up from a 8-hour sleep where you haven't been drinking in the like temperature control of your house is different than being on a boat in July in the heat.
I don't think it has to do with heat. I've heard of this happening to people in other situations.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Maybe it was just how quickly she drank it, but like, it feels like you should be able to drink a half gallon of water, right?
It feels like it, which is why that's why I brought it up, because it seems crazy, right?
Yeah, I feel like there had
water
to.
can kill you.
It's a holiday. Was she drinking? Like, I don't know if that, like alcohol, I mean.
No, it's fully a water thing. Like this is fully just a water toxicity problem. Like, I've heard of this before. Like there was a woman who was in a water drinking contest. It was like for like a radio show and like drank a gallon of water.
Well, that's a lot.
And, like,
though.
yeah, but I mean, it was in like 45 minutes or something.
I feel like every time I've ever heard of like this kind of thing happening with just water, there were other things involved, like other extenuating circumstances that were hard on the body. Like I know this happens at raves all the time because ecstasy makes you like hella thirsty, and then people.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't heard that.
People drink way too much water at a rave. They also charge like $20 a bottle.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
Yeah, sell you cheap. Cheap E and then expensive H2O.
Kids, drink your water, but drink it slowly.
Mm-hmm. And preferably, just make it Gatorade.
Moral of the story is don't drink water. Drink Gatorade.
Gatorade. It's got electrolytes. It's got what plants crave.
This podcast is brought to you by Gatorade.
I don't think Olivia's seen that movie.
What?
Idiocracy? You haven't seen Idiocracy?
That sounds... I think I have.
Have you?
I don't... If I have, I don't remember it, but that's because I don't remember movies.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I think I've seen Idiocracy.
Well, if you have and you forgot it, I'm jealous because that means you get to watch it new, like brand new twice in the same lifetime.
Let's do it.
All right.
So Victor has just stopped dreaming for some reason.
Stop thinking too. It's all empty up there.
No more brain pictures
Mm-hmm.
or words.
Definitely words.
Oh yeah, I'm full
Just
of words.
words.
But they don't mean anything.
They're all words like irregardless. I wonder if you can, like, we've talked about like, the mind's eye before and how some people have like more visual imagination than others. And I think I mentioned that I have a buddy who claims that he has no visual imagination. Like he only thinks in words and can't picture. Do you think some people dream like in monologue? Like they just dream words, like they think audio, but with no picture. And then maybe we don't hear about that because it's just harder to remember that.
Well, we talked about this before, like hypothesizing if people who have less visual imagination dream less or whatever. But it seems like not. It seems like that's a different thing. But that maybe, I don't know, maybe if you have more of a visual imagination, your dreams are more visually fantastical sometimes.
I guess I saw again recently, like there's some researcher that thinks like 30 to 50% of people don't have an internal monologue. And I
heard that
don't
too.
understand how you read. Because when I read, I'm reading it to myself in my head with my internal monologue voice. So like, what is reading like if you don't have that?
I don't know. Yeah, because when I read sometimes it could be like a variety of voices. You know what I mean? Like depending on the writing style, I might hear like a certain type of voice.
Sure. Yeah.
Especially I tend to picture people as the characters, like either actors or people from my life that the characters remind me of, and then they'll have that person's voice during the dialogue.
See, mine is just my voice doing
The whole everything.
Yeah, but doing other people's voices, like.
So I'm usually not good voices. I don't need to do voices in my own head. It's just my own voice.
Yeah.
I'm like an audiobook narrator. Sorry, Mrs. Johnson.
Zach's fully got like a cast. He's got like guest stars and stuff in his reading brain.
Yeah, I'm a pretty slow reader, probably for that reason. But
I can also speed up and slow down my reading. Like, I'll sometimes notice I'm reading and I'm like, oh, I'm reading kind of slow. And then I'll just start reading way faster. Like, I have a little bit of speed control.
I can read like a little bit faster, but I can't read faster than I could say something with my mouth.
Yeah, that's kind of
like
how
it
I
has
am.
to be. I have to say it to myself in my head.
I can read faster than that, but I don't enjoy it. That's like how I would read, the instruction manual to the refrigerator or something when I'm just trying to glean information. But if I'm trying to enjoy the book, I have to go at the speed that I would read it out loud.
I wonder what it means that I've been reading in dreams a lot lately.
Right. Where and as Victor pointed out last time you said this, that means you're also writing in dreams.
That's true. But like the experience, like I wonder if there's a reading dream Bible entry because I've just been reading a lot.
Just entire dreams of sitting there reading a book, whole chapters.
Reading. To dream of reading a book means your brain is irreversibly broken. There's something deeply wrong with you. No one can help you now.
See, Victor keeps telling me this. I'm not surprised.
To dream of reading a book represents ideas, insights, or answers to problems you are considering. Telling yourself what to do to follow an expert advice, considering all options, an open-minded attitude to new ideas. Reading may also reflect your own experience that you are falling back on to that you are falling back on to deal with a new situation or problem. Negatively, reading may be a sign that you have badly preconceived ideas about how to act under certain conditions due to past experiences. Telling yourself to think or act in certain ways to new problems based on old or outdated methods. Controlling yourself or using bad habits for no other reason except because it works, blindly following bad ideas. But like, I feel like it's one thing to like read in your dreams where it's like you look at a thing and it's garbled, but you like get information out of it or something, you know? It's
Right.
like where there's like weird stuff that happens that like kind of like smooths out your experience, you know? Olivia is like literally like seeing sentences on a page and reading the sentences.
They would be equally
like,
coherent in real life.
I think it's because we like talked about it. We've talked about it enough. Like there was one time where we were talking about how it's like really difficult to read in a dream, and it's really difficult to look at a phone in a dream. And then like the next night, I had a dream where I was like on a scavenger hunt, and at one point I found a clue that was like a piece of paper that when you looked at it, it didn't make sense. But the trick was that I had to take a picture of it with one cell phone and then look at the picture of it on the cell phone through the camera of another cell phone, and the letters made sense. And it like, I could fully read it at that point, but it was like challenge accepted.
Yeah, geez.
You've had that experience too, right? Like we were talking about how it's hard, and then you like started having dreams about it. Like your brain was like,
yeah,
all right, let's see how hard it is.
Yeah, it's like you plant that seed for your own subconscious and then it tries to do it.
Yeah, I feel like I've had that experience with cell phones. We talked about how hard it is to see a cell phone screen. And I still haven't gotten to where I'm like fully using it as I would in real life. But I've definitely used my phone in dreams. I mean, I had that one a little while back that like it was like a really simple phone with all the menus that made it more complicated. And then another one kind of recently where I could see one thing at a time and the rest of the screen was blurred. But it does feel like since we talked about it, my brain is trying to do it. It's like not as successful right away, but it's like, yeah, like it kicks something loose. It's like, oh yeah, we should try to use the phone in a dream. That would be useful if we could do that.
I also have a lot of dreams where like I will take pictures of things on my phone in the dream, fully expecting, like with the intention of looking at it when I wake up, like thinking that, oh, I'll just take a picture of this for when I wake up so that I can remember this dream better because I'll have pictures on my camera roll.
I thought I did that a couple episodes ago.
Right. Yeah. I'm constantly doing that. And it usually makes me lucid when I'm like, oh, I'll take a picture and I'll remember this later because this is a dream.
This reminds me of like, we've never gone into it in this podcast, but like if you look into dream stuff, there's a lot of like tips on how to lucid dream. And a lot of what it is like asking your brain to do a thing that's really hard to do when you're dreaming. And so it's stuff like trying to check the time on the wall or like the date or something, or like asking somebody a question about like, I don't know, I guess it's all time based. It seems like now that I'm talking about it, but like, all of those little checks you can do that like would work easily and when you're awake, but your brain doesn't know what to do with it when you're sleeping. We've never done that though. Like the three of us have never like committed to like a lucid dreaming practice like that.
That would be cool if we tried to do that as like a side quest.
Yeah, to get back into it, because we've all done it, right?
To lucid dream? Yeah, we've all lucid dreamed.
Yeah, I feel like we have talked about it, like our past experiences on the pod, but yeah, that might be a fun challenge to get back into it and report.
We're going on another podcast here later this month, and I think the host of that podcast is has some more expertise on lucid dreaming, so maybe we will ask her for some tips and try and start doing that for ourselves.
Yeah, because I believe I've talked about, maybe it was like before we started keeping episodes, but in high school when I was lucid dreaming a lot, or like trying to, my thing was before I went to bed, I would stare into the mirror and like really analyze my face and connect with my face. They're like the reality of like, this is what I look like. And then when I was in a dream, if I found a mirror, I would look into it and do the same thing just out of habit. Like would train myself to like look intently at a mirror. And then when I did that in a dream and it didn't look like me, I would know I was dreaming.
Yeah, I've heard like other, like, I don't know, I can't remember what they call, like anchors, I think is maybe what it's called. Other techniques like that where like one that I've heard of is that you like throughout the day, you just look at your hand and think, I'm dreaming. Like you just like program yourself to look at your hand and think, I'm dreaming. And then you'll do that in a dream and you'll be like, oh shit, I am dreaming.
They also call them totems, right? I mean, that's what they call them in Inception, but I think that was based on a real thing.
Oh, yeah. I like Anchor better. I don't know if I made that up, but it's better.
Yeah, I like Anchor. I've also been wanting to try dream incubation since we heard about it from Steve.
I've tried it.
Yeah.
How did that go for you?
I have too many dreams. I can't like, I don't know.
You lost the seed in the garden.
Yeah. I'm like, what? I don't know. It'll be like, I'll try and incubate something and then I'll wake up and have had like 4 really elaborate dreams. And I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. Give me something clear, concise. That's lazy of me. My brain's like, here's a masterpiece for you to work with. And I'm like, no. That's too much work.
It's somewhere in there.
I just feel like the little guys that live in your brain, the little like office workers that keep everything functioning, have like ripped everything out. Like they're like pulling out the copper wire and everything. Like they're tearing the place apart and just throwing everything into like the dream bonfire. And just like, I don't know what functionality you've lost in other places to allow you to dream the way that you do, but I don't think it's healthy.
No, it's I have disordered sleep and I'm pregnant. That's honestly, shit was wild before, but boy, oh boy.
What's the main difference? It's just like they're more vivid, they're more frequent.
You're sleeping more often?
No, they're like, I'm remembering them more, and I don't know, they're just like weirder, more vivid, I guess. Like the one from last week with like the like bear and I don't know. It's just they get very they're very vivid and there's just more vivid dreams in a night. Like I'll wake up and have had like 4. And it's like a lot.
Yeah, you used to wake up every morning and say, I had a dream last night. And now you wake up every morning and say, I had 3 dreams last night. Let me tell them to you.
Yeah.
Morning routine. It's just getting longer and longer.
What did I say the other day? You were like, all right, tell them to me. And I was like, all right, 1, Australia. 2.
Yeah, it's like, that's cheating. You're just naming things.
I realized that it was too much to like try and describe to you. So
you tried to sum it up with Australia? Was that the key message of the dream? Australia.
No, it was really violent, actually.
What?
Just like the settling of Australia.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, when Victor goes to sleep, all the office workers in his head like set their emails to the automated, like, we'll be out of the office for the next 8 hours.
Yeah, everyone goes home.
Yeah. Turns the lights off.
I did actually, while you were talking about me not dreaming, it did like spark a memory of, but it's not a full dream. I don't have the whole thing fleshed out.
All right,
but I remember it was like, it was definitely like an Olivia centric dream, but it was like I was dating someone that I like barely remember from high school. But it was you. It was like that person and you at the same time.
Like a disjunctive cognition thing.
Yeah, it was like a different version of this relationship, but like it was like your soul was inside of a different person or something. And then I remember waking up and realizing like, oh, this, and this were happening in that dream. That's about this other stuff that I know is going on in Olivia's life. But I've forgotten all those details. I just remember that that's what I thought after I woke up from the dream.
Okay.
So any insights that we would have gotten into, they're gone. That's it.
My question would be, what do you think of that person that you barely remember from high school?
I didn't know her that well. It was a girl that I think I had a crush on for a little bit.
Okay.
But that's all I remember. I remember calling her house phone.
That's so high school.
In real life, yeah.
Yeah.
That's high school for our generation.
That's all I got. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's not much to work with.
Yep.
Man, if it weren't for the hormones that were coursing through my body in high school, I don't know how I would have mustered the courage to call a strange grown man and be like, "Is your daughter home?" It was the most terrifying thing I had done up to that point.
Absolutely.
Kids these days just call each other directly. It's not fair. But I feel
Not my kid. They're living in the woods.
that's probably for the best, honestly.
When they turn 18, I'm going to show them what tools are.
And then maybe we'll get into reading written word. Yes, I assume you guys have had to have, or just knowing you guys, I feel like you've already had a lot of conversations about that thing, like raising a kid in this day and age where like
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, like the debate was like, do you let your kid watch TV or not? And now it's like, do you let them have a TikTok account when they're like 9, you know?
I was just thinking about the iPad kid that we saw at the diner a few months back.
Yeah. Yeah. This kid was in a booth at this diner and like they were sitting across from like their grandmother or something, I think. And they were just totally zoned into their iPad. Is that the same thing you're thinking about?
Yeah, no, but it was just like, it was sad. Like the grandma was like eating pancakes and this kid was just like wolfing down like fucking French toast and like watching some YouTube channel like on the iPad, fully checked out of like, just have breakfast with your grandma.
Yeah, like you don't need the iPad. Oh God, I'm old. You don't need the iPad while you're like in the middle of eating and you have company.
Yeah, there's plenty going on. It's just like a stimulation problem.
But it's like, yeah, the TV thing, I feel like that was like way simpler when we were kids, but it was like, I knew like 2 kids that I went to school with who weren't allowed to, like they didn't have TV at their house. Like they just didn't have it around. And they were like smarter and more focused than the rest of us, but they were considered weird. Like, cause most people, it was easier. Like if every kid has access to TV, it's easier as a parent to just be like, okay, fine, just don't watch MTV.
Right.
But I feel like that's where culture has gotten with things that are probably way more damaging, like social media.
Yeah.
Like I just imagine it being really hard to like tell a kid no when all their peer group has the really addictive, destructive thing.
Like what I've been reading about with it is like, as far as like screen time and child development, like obviously like I don't know that like no screen time is like necessary, but like it does seem like there's a lot of evidence that it like delays development, like because it is just like a distraction from like dealing with what's going on right then and there. Like, and understandably, like there's a lot of situations where it's like you have this tool to keep your kid fucking quiet and chill and like that is a lot easier than, and like also so much more convenient when you have like shit going on that you're trying to take care of. But like there's a lot of situations where it's like if a kid gets that too much, instead of learning how to like regulate their own nervous system and like deal with their own emotions, like yeah, it like really messes with their development. So I'm on like in the camp of like they definitely don't need to have much of that.
Mm-hmm.
But like obviously there's probably times where it's like, okay, just shut up and sit down. So we'll see how we do, but the intention is probably not a lot of that. We don't have we do have an iPad. The kid will not have their own iPad.
Yeah.
And they
Or
are not
smartphone.
touching ours with their nasty booger fingers.
Oh my God.
And their open mouth coughing. Ugh,
Right
kids
on
are
the
so
screen.
gross.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gotta love them.
I felt like a little bit of a tension there because it's like I do think that it's bad for development in a lot of ways, but then like I do feel like you need a certain grip on technology to like do a lot of stuff that you need to do now. And it's like, well, I don't want my kid to like be behind in being able to like use technology, but like maybe like just real limited internet, like limited games and internet.
And they don't need that for so long. Like
Yeah.
there's like maybe when they're like a preteen, you start prepping them for like,
Yeah, you've got some.
I don't know.
You've got a few years to
Yeah.
figure it out in specifics. It just sounds so much more complicated now.
yeah, you're not dealing with just TV at this point.
Yeah, that was, you have the V chip or whatever, and it would scramble the porn channel, and then you were like, all right, you're good to watch TV. But now it's like, I wouldn't know how to like protect a kid from one part of the internet with like protect them from fucking ISIS beheading videos, but also give them access to the parts that are like enriching, because you can learn a lot. Like anything you want to know is there. So yeah, I feel like they would be behind a curve if you took it entirely away. But
Yeah, we learned a lot in the Gaia Online forums in our preteens.
Oh my
Totally
God.
changed who I am as a person.
Were you on Gaia? I was on
I
Gaia.
don't know what that is.
I was a Gaia Online kid. I was talking to strangers on Gaia Online.
What was it, like a chat room?
It was all kinds of
but it
things.
was like,
It was like a kind of weeby
Yeah.
forum, like forum based website. I did a lot of role playing.
Like D&D role
There.
playing?
like nerdier than that.
Yeah.
I don't, yeah, this was not on my radar.
So you make an original character.
I would want to make sure my kid still has access to MSN Messenger.
There you go.
Is that still a thing?
No.
They can have a MySpace. How about that?
Man, I talked to lots of people I should not have talked to on the internet.
But I think I just missed the trend of like, I think that was like the next couple classes younger than me that were experimenting with talking to strangers online. Or maybe I just missed it entirely. I feel like that happened like pretty immediately after the internet was available.
I felt like it was only like select people in any given group that were like susceptible to that. Like I feel like I was always the weird kid who like was talking to fucking strangers on the internet. Like everyone else, all the other kids my age thought that was really weird and like told their parents about it.
Mm.
Who told my parents, who were like,
Yeah. What are they going to do?
Thinking about the time I got catfished.
Oh,
You got catfish?
I don't remember the details real well, but yeah, it was like some like chat, as you do, like chatting with girls in the MSN chat rooms or whatever back in the day. But I remember I was like on the internet. I thought I was talking to somebody my age, and we were like, let's talk on the phone. And then I got this phone call, and it was like, it sounded like this person was like on oxygen and had like the weirdest, breathiest, like disturbing, like minute and a half, like me just kind of on the phone quietly. This person,
That's so weird.
and that was it. That was the end of it.
what
It
did
was
they
just
say
like,
to you?
I can't remember. I don't know.
Hey there, little boy.
Basically,
That sounds
I don't
so
know.
upsetting.
Yeah. Just like desperately trying to get in like an hour here, 45 minutes there of Baldur's Gate 3. And it's my pregnant wife is like, come downstairs, spend time with me. we have things we have to do. And I was like, I'm an elf.
This reality is important too.
No, you're very moderate with that stuff. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Not by that stuff I mean video games, not the nerdy stuff. You're not moderate with the nerdy stuff.
No, I'm always a nerd, but
all right. Do we want to do a dream? I had a nightmare.
Ooh, spooky.
spooky.
Okay, this dream was like 2 months old, but this was from like 2 months ago, but I'll just read it to you. Okay, so it was like nighttime and I wanted candy. Like I wanted to go get candy from the store. And so I took Victor's car and I was driving to the store to get candy and I took a wrong turn somehow and ended up going to like West Seattle, which if you're not from here is like a pain in the ass to get to and from and is like just a whole bitch of a situation. It's nice once you're there, but like
Is the bridge still out?
actually I don't know if it is. I try to avoid going there. But so I like took a wrong turn and I was heading towards West Seattle and like in the dream it was like I could have gone to like any gas station, any corner store, and in the dream I was like, oh well, I guess I'll just go all the way to West Seattle and like stop there and then come back. And as I was getting off the freeway I saw a sign, a midwifery sign, a sign for like a midwifery business, which obviously and there were 2 gas stations and I like had to pick between them to go to one to get candy. And so I go into the gas station and I picked out like a lot of different pieces of candy and the cashier like commented on how much candy I was buying and opened my Skittles and was like counting my Skittles in the change like the change thing. I don't know. Like the thing where you like there's like I don't know. What are those? There's like pennies there. Are those pennies up for grabs? Is that like a penny that you can just use if you need a penny? Is that how that works?
If it keeps you from like getting 99 cents back in change.
Like take a penny, leave a penny. Anyway. Yeah. So the cashier was like rolling my Skittles into that thing and counting them. And so then I start driving home and I'm starting to eat the candy and there's like a bunch of traffic. And I'm sitting in traffic and I like get into a trance and it's like, I don't know, it was super weird. It was like I blacked out in the dream. Like I fully blacked out and I like wake up and I'm sitting there and it's like eerily silent and like the car is still running and there's no traffic. Everyone else has moved on and I'm like sitting in the middle of a highway in the car, like idle, and it feels like hours have passed. And the car's like check engine light comes on and I was like, fuck, like I fucked up the car from sitting here for so long. I start to drive just to try and like get home and it's the car starts to sound weird. And so I take the next exit and I put the hazard lights on and I turn the car off and then I turn it back on and the lights are still on. And I get out of the car to make sure that the doors are all closed. And I don't know, I'm like checking the car and I feel like really like vulnerable. Like I feel like I might like get attacked or something. I've put myself in this really precarious situation. And I try to turn the car on and it won't turn over this time. And like, I don't know, this all seems like somewhat like innocuous, but it was like terrifying. This was like a really like horrible dream. And I just remember feeling like I like fucked up at every turn and like put myself in this situation where it was like, I wanted candy, which is like a stupid thing to like go out of your way for. And I like should have turned around when I took the wrong turn in the first place. And like, I somehow ended up in this situation. I remember being worried like that I like fucked up Victor's car and that he was like trying to get a hold of me. And I wrote at the bottom, I don't like this dream.
The coming to on the road after, like time was lost in the car reminds me of like alien abduction stories.
It felt like that. It was really scary. It was like, I don't know. Yeah, it felt like so much time had been lost and like everyone else had left.
So what was the main feeling you were experiencing at the end?
Like regret and like
Dread.
yeah, like dread and guilt, regret probably.
Gotcha.
I remember something that was interesting about this was like, I think at the same time you had a dream about candy. And we never got into it. That was the last dream that I think you had that you remember.
Remembered.
Or, I don't know. Remembered. You fully remembered it. It was like in a mall.
Well, as soon as you said candy,
Oh, yeah.
As soon as you said candy, I thought of one of our earlier episodes, the candy flavored body horror one. It's the last time I remember you dreaming about candy, which was also like not a fun dream. Like that was
right,
scary. But I don't remember what the candy part meant in the context of that dream.
But
could be a theme with you though.
Sure. Yeah. I feel like there was also something else in this dream that was like, there were like multiple themes in this dream that overlapped between my dream and Victor's dream that he had at the same time. And we just didn't get into this on the pod at the time because like we moved past it so quickly. But
are you thinking of my, like the dream where I was in the mall and I was like,
yeah, there was like, it was a mall. You also had another mall dream, but this was a different mall dream.
I have a lot of mall dreams.
Yeah.
Seems like. Yeah, the one where I was like, where we got separated or whatever.
Yeah. But wasn't it, there was something about candy?
Yeah, I think at the end, it was like, I passed through, it was like a kiosk kind of situation in like the middle of the roadway or whatever you call it in the mall. You know how like there'll be the walkway with stores on the side and then there's like stores set up in the middle sometimes.
Oh yeah.
It was like that kind of situation. It was like a couple like rows of like kind of
cell
tall
phone cases.
I remember it being like kind of pretty, you know, this like kind of section of candy, but it was like in the middle of everything.
Oh, I think it was that you were trying to get back to me.
Yeah, we got separated and I was just kind of vibing and then I got concerned about finding you. It was kind of like a back and forth of like doing my own thing and then being worried about you.
Right. Well, that just like, that stuck out to me because my dream, I was trying to get back to you the whole time.
I found you at the end of my dream. At the very end, I found you outside in the car. My car.
I fucking broke it down and on my way to West Seattle.
Yeah, maybe you're tandem dreaming.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear some of these dream Bible entries or do you want to tackle it a different way?
I have like an idea of what this dream might be about, but I haven't like put any of the pieces together. So I don't know how you guys would prefer to go about it. But
I have a suspicion about what this dream is about, but I want to keep it to myself until we've dug into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say. I don't have a theory, but I feel like if anyone voices their theory and then we dig into it, we're all going to be inclined to like
sure
confirmation bias, you know, as opposed to.
Okay, so
You want to start with candy?
Sure. Yeah. Candy.
Do you guys have a favorite candy, by the way? Random question. I just like to know.
Sour candy. I have you should see my candy sack.
We're actually candy eaters around here. Not everybody does that, but we like candy. We'll get candy occasionally.
I have this.
You don't have a number one.
Like,
you have a huge what?
Hey, yo.
I have a huge sack. It's a gallon freezer bag. Where like I'll get candy periodically, and I'll eat maybe like half of it, and then I'll just pour the rest into this gallon bag. And so I have this huge sack of like mixed candy. I don't know. Victor's kind of grossed out by it.
Well, no, it's just like Olivia likes that there's gross candy in there.
Yeah, that's fun. You get to.
She likes sorting like the good candy from the bad candy and leaving like the bad candy behind. And for me, I just stick my hand in and pull out a piece of candy. And then I'm like, half of these are disgusting.
You're missing out on the whole experience.
I'm not
It's about sorting through
like
it.
They're loose?
Yeah.
it's
You
a big
unwrap it.
bag of loose candy.
It's not like individually wrapped candies, but she'll like buy a bag of gummy candy and then she'll dump it into a bigger bag of candy.
Well, that's kind of weird.
And she's just
Yeah.
kind of accumulated like a really weird mixed bag of like kind of whatever she's bought. And some of the stuff in there has probably been in there a long time.
Yeah, it's extra chewy.
Yeah, that's kind of a bizarre MO.
I'm going to post a picture of my candy sack on our Instagram.
Do it. And I was just asking, that's like, I like to ask my friends if they have like a favorite candy, because that's one of my love languages. If I stop at a gas station on my way to see a friend, I'll grab a bag of their favorite candy.
Are
You're a
you
good
coming?
person.
Are you coming over here anytime?
No, but if you have a favorite candy, I'll store it in my candy.
I think you got me Skittles one time because I
Did
think I
I?
told you that. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. I've been doing this for a long time.
And yours are Swedish fish.
Yeah.
I'm a
Good-
Snickers
Good
guy.
memory.
Like me a Snickers.
You're not you when you're hungry.
How true.
In the wise
Especially
words of
for
Snickers.
me right now. When I'm even a little bit hungry right now, I'm like,
She's just like screaming and projectile vomiting.
Head spinning around 360.
I'm eating like twice as much as Victor right now.
Well,
It's wild.
there's twice as much human on your
There's not.
on your person.
There's
Per capita.
Yeah, you're 2 people. He's only 1.
That's right. But okay, so there is a candy dream and there's a Skittles entry. So to dream of candy represents something that feels good to think about, enjoyment or self-indulgence. You may be feeling joy or experiencing a special treat, a pleasurable experience you are having. Candy may also reflect you enjoying yourself thinking of plans you have for the future. And Skittles, specifically, represent a situation that feels good moving past your problem easily. Feeling good that problems aren't your problem. Innocence, playfulness, and a carefree attitude about why something isn't a problem anymore. Enjoying news that brightens your day moving past a problem.
This is like denial.
Having fun moving on. Enjoying simply never having to say anything as the reason you skip something. Feeling good skipping something over and over because you're intelligent about how to. Feeling good being intelligent about skipping something because someone else does it for you. Feeling fantastic that you don't need any help while walking away laughing.
What?
That's in quotes. Feeling good talking to someone about easily getting rid of a problem. Negatively dreaming about Skittles may reflect dishonesty that enjoys walking away laughing from problems like it's fantastic. Enjoying skittling. Wait.
Skittling?
Enjoying skittling the rules. Wait, no, skidding. Skidding?
Oh,
I like skittling.
Skittling.
but it's
Enjoy-
it's in quotation marks, which makes it seem like it should say skittling.
Skidding the rules because it isn't dangerous. Enjoying feeling that you're faster than someone else that doesn't have to talk about it. This is so garbled.
Yeah.
It's like I know AI didn't write this, but it feels like bad AI wrote it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was pretty
So that's
ironic
interesting.
earlier when the reading entry had bad grammar.
Is painting a picture. And then driving. To dream of driving a vehicle represents full control of decision making or the direction a situation you are experiencing is taking. Controlling or navigating the direction in life you are headed. Increased feelings of controlling outcomes or your destiny. Whoever is driving reflects the quality or aspect of yourself that is influencing your current path. If you are driving and can't see the road ahead, it's a sign that you do not know where you are heading in life or don't know what to expect in the near future. To dream of driving and missing your turn may be a sign that you are not paying adequate attention to a situation. Awareness of yourself not having cared enough about what is going on.
There's also a dream of driving at night.
To dream that you are driving at night suggests that you are feeling a lack of confidence or enthusiasm for the direction in life you are headed. You feel that something is not as good as it used to or has taken a turn for the worse. You may be unsure of where you are headed in life. You may be experiencing obstacles towards your goals. You may not be feeling good making certain decisions or you are afraid to continue on. You may be feeling apprehensive about the future. And then there's if your car has poor controls, your car is spinning out, big bulky vehicle. Okay, that's it for driving. Any thoughts? Anybody got any thoughts so far?
Well, I'm starting to formulate an idea of what this dream would be about if it was just like some random person. Like if a listener wrote in with this dream with no other details about their life. Like I have a vague idea of what the mechanics are at play, but I can't figure out how to apply it to Olivia.
I mean, I think the midwifery sign is a huge clue.
Big clue. Yeah. Do you feel prepared to share your seed of an idea, Zach, or do you want to keep going?
Oh no, I mean it's just vague. Yeah, it's like how the candy stuff plays against the driving in the darkness stuff. Like some kind of colorful temptation has led this dreamer into a place that is scary and uncertain. So like some sort of distraction has gotten them away from the path they're supposed to be on and into this like feeling of chaos. But
yeah,
but I don't know that do the things in what has come up so far resonate with your preconceived notions of what this was about?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
I'm curious to hear what the differences between my idea and your idea.
Gas station. To dream of a gas station represents habits that give you emotional or psychological sustenance, something you need to have or need to feel in order to continue with the direction your life is taking. Gas stations reflect a need for energy or resources in order to move forward with goals, feeling like a loser that needs to inject enthusiasm or confidence into your life or relationship. Gas station may be a sign that you've run out of gas or need to recalibrate in order to carry on. A need to re-energize or reinvigorate your life in some area. Feeling empty and needing to recharge some area of your life. Feeling that you've done something in excess or that your relationship is running out of energy.
Why don't we, instead of reading all of them, share, and then maybe we can connect some final dots.
Okay, I kind of read this last one. It's short.
Sure.
Cashier. To dream of a cashier represents awareness of consequences of your choice, noticing the personal cost of your decision, what you have to face in life to get what you want.
Yeah. Okay, so my initial thought with this dream, having not read any dream Bible entries on it, was more about a fear of fucking up as a parent and maybe okay, I guess what I was feeling was in the dream it was I went way out of my way for this impractical frivolous thing and made several stupid decisions about it that led me to be in a precarious situation where there were stakes. And the midwifery sign, just if you just take that and say, okay, this is about parenthood. To me it felt like a dream that was about how easy it is to fuck up and how big the stakes are.
Yeah, see, I wasn't sure what to do with the midwifery thing. I didn't know that's how you say it, by the way. Because I mean, I guess my one and only thought about that is it could signal that this is about pregnancy, but it also, as you've pointed out before, it's such a big thing that it makes sense that all your dreams would be about that. So right. I kind of took that as the baseline and then wondered if there was something to midwifery specifically as a specific component of giving birth that had extra significance.
Right. Yeah, I'm surprisingly, and this is probably just because I've never done it before, but I'm really not nervous about giving birth. I feel like I can handle that. I'm nervous about taking care of a baby. And I guess in some ways it feels like the wrong turn or the, I don't know, that could be a fear of oh, what did we do? Right. The pregnancy being okay, now we're on this path and there's not really any going back and what if it gets fucked up, all for this I don't know, the idea of a thing that you want. I wanted candy, I just wanted it.
So you think parenthood could be the candy?
I mean, maybe it's just that the candy was the idea of the thing that I wanted and that I was going to go way out of my way for. It felt in the dream, I left the house like at like 10 p.m. or something. Like it was like, you know, those late night snacks where you're like, oh, I really got to go to the store for this. And it's like, do you really though? Like it felt like one of those situations where it was like, I'm going to indulge in this thing. I'm going to go give myself this little treat. And like it turned into a whole thing that like spiraled out of control and was like not worth the reward, you know? And like actually like became dangerous and like I was worried about Victor too. Like I was specifically like concerned about Victor. Like I don't know. It felt like maybe you were out looking for me, or like I don't know. It just felt like the whole situation was like dangerous over something that was not worth it, you know?
Yeah, I my gut reaction, I think it holds up. But that doesn't mean that's what the dream is about. But I had thought that it sounded like maybe this had to do with like an anxiety about how starting a family could maybe like affect our relationship or change our relationship, right?
Yeah.
And so it ending with like you being alone and feeling like anxious and stuff is like maybe like a fear of our relationship like suffering or changing because of like we've made a big change and like maybe we don't handle it or something.
That felt like a big part of it. Like it felt like there were several things at play. Like that aspect, like I was all worried about having ruined your car.
Mm-hmm.
I was really worried about that. And like it felt like I like that was like I had like damaged something important, you know, between us.
Right.
But then also like just like at every turn there was like it was kind of like me like taking the wrong turn and like noticing I was going to West Seattle, seeing this midwifery sign, and then deciding like not to turn back. Like I remember feeling like I could have gotten off and like gone back instead of going all the way there, and I didn't. And like I know that feels like, now that I'm saying that feels like a direct metaphor for like, or like I don't know, just like like your decision to like start a family like feels like final and like you're going through with it. But like in the dream it just felt like, I don't know, it felt like a mishandling of the situation, like in the same way that like a simple mishandling of like a situation with a baby or as a parent could have dire consequences. That was the feeling I got from that, was that like you think about all the things that like if your kid sleeps in the wrong position they can like suffocate. It's like there's all these little things that make me super fucking nervous that are like are so simple but like have huge consequences. And that was the feeling that I got from that part of the dream. You
feel like the candy and the excursion to get it is emblematic of something you're worried about post giving birth, not that the candy is emblematic of the decision to be a parent in the first place.
Yes, that was the feeling I had. That I felt like the candy was like me making a stupid decision, like
as a parent.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
To dream of a blackout represents a situation in your life that completely stops you or distracts you. You may feel completely unable to function in some way because something important was stopped or removed. Something fundamental to your life work or relationship is stopped. You may be frustrated or experiencing failure with something that you were attempting to do. That's all the entries say.
Blackout was really like the scariest part. It felt like after the blackout, I was completely alone. There was nobody else there. It felt really bad. And it felt like I didn't know what happened while I was blacked out, but I also felt like I don't know. I can't. The thought fully just left my brain. I've also started like putting things in like that go in the fridge in the cabinet and like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Stoner behavior.
Mom brain.
It seemed like a lot of those entries mentioned the word failure and the word relationship. So it definitely tracks with Victor's specific theory that seems to be part of your total experience of the fear in the dream. Some fear of relationship failure because of a series of decisions or the new dynamic as a family itself. I don't know if that made sense.
No, that makes sense. I feel like the end of the dream being like alone in the car really feels like symbolic of like our relationship ending or something.
Yeah, and I don't know what the Dream Bible has to say about cars, but like I feel like it's a pretty strong cultural symbol. Like when you get your first car as like a teenager or whatever, or at least get your license, like the first word that comes to my mind is freedom and like mobility, and the fact like the fear of like Olivia fucking that up for Victor seems like a pretty direct like representation of a fear.
That's interesting.
I felt like just a total fuck up in this dream. Like I felt like such a child, like that I went on this really stupid journey to get candy, and like that I fucked it up at multiple points, like taking the wrong turn, not turning back, blacking out. And then the way I handled the car, like I was like turning it on and off and like getting out of the car,
The
and like
check engine light came on.
yeah, but like, and instead of like trying to make it home, I like turned the car off several times, and like then it wouldn't turn back on, and like I just remember feeling like that like all of that was so stupid and like wouldn't have, I don't know, like and it felt like Victor wouldn't have let that happen. Like I felt like like irresponsible, and like that you were probably out looking for me, and like if you had been there, none of that would have gone that way. And that it was just like my fault.
Did the decision between the two gas stations, you said there were, like you felt like at a certain point there was a deliberate decision you had to make between these two different gas stations.
Yeah.
Does that in retrospect seem important? Like the other one would have had a different outcome?
I'm not sure. I think they were different colors, but I can't quite remember which colors.
But it's not like getting candy at that one would have changed anything, because by this time you had already wandered into West Seattle.
Yeah, probably.
Just curious.
What was the deal with the cashier?
They like commented on how much candy that I bought, and then they like opened my Skittles and were like counting the Skittles.
Mixed it with dirty change.
Yeah. But I do feel like what I was just talking about kind of tracks. Like I feel like in real life, like I see you, Victor, as like, I don't know. I like default to you a lot. Like I feel like I really like value your opinion on like decisions, and like yeah, I guess like maybe the stream is a fear of like, or like me like doubting myself and my own ability to like handle things on my own, because I do feel like I don't know, like I guess I feel like yeah, I feel like I trust you with a lot of like important decisions that like I don't necessarily trust myself with alone. And so like in this dream it was like I was on a simple quest, but like I like fucked it up so royally, and I just remember feeling like this would never have happened if you were there. And like feeling like so stupid about it, and like why did I have to handle it this way? Like I should have, there were so many points where I should have done it differently.
If you hadn't been wandering around the mall, Victor, none of this would have ever happened. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is pretty broadly relatable, like from a self-confidence or like self-worth point of view. You know what I mean? Not everyone's in your exact situation as expecting parents, but you know, I think a lot of people have some kind of like imposter syndrome or self-doubt of an upcoming big deal, you know?
Sure. Yeah. And you know, like we've become really like, I don't know, we operate together a lot of the time. Especially like we were only together for like 6 months before COVID. And then like we were only together. Like we were together like all the time for so long. Like, I don't know. We just like, I feel like a lot of the time we operate as a unit and like, we're really on the same journey a lot of the time. And, I know that you're going to be very present and fully like there as a parent. And especially like, even when you go back to work, you work from home and like, that's awesome. And at the same time, I'm going to be on a really different journey than you with this. Like I have a very different role just as the person who gave birth to this kid. And like, yeah, some of like, I guess that does like scare me a little bit to be like, it feels like a lot of responsibility because it is. And like that like it is going to put us on slightly separate journeys, even though we're going to be on it. You know, there's a journey we're on together, and also like there's a separate journey that I'm on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, it's normal to feel like some anxiety about how that's gonna change our relationship, and then also just change who we are as individuals, right? You're probably gonna think differently and approach life differently when you're doing it as a parent. But something I think a lot about our relationship, and I just saw something about it the other day, but it's something I've said about our relationship a lot, is that I think a healthy relationship is not like all consuming. It's like a place to like recharge and like rejuvenate each other and make each other stronger for the stuff outside of the relationship that you're trying to conquer, you know? And like parenthood is going to be a big part of what we're doing, but it's also something that's outside of our relationship. And it's a thing that ideally, like within our marriage, we will make each other stronger and more capable of dealing with parenthood and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So it is really precious by itself as like a source of strength and comfort, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I think that's something that's worth remembering, is that like we make each other stronger and more capable.
Yeah. No, and I think that's a really important distinction to make, that parenthood is a separate thing from our relationship. It's a thing we're doing together, but you know, and it is obviously like a part of our relationship, just like anything that we do together is. But being able to like come back to our relationship separately from parenthood, I think is important. Like you hear people talk about like you need to make time, even if it's just like once a week, like just to check in and like spend time together and not talk about the kid, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think that's important.
It's easy for couples to become like just parents, and then they lose their connection to each other, you know? It's a pitfall. So let's not do that.
Yeah.
Deal.
Mm-hmm.
Problem solved.
Hell yeah. We went beyond my pay grade a while ago. Got to a certain point where I could no longer chime in as the like unmarried guy who hasn't so much as babysat a kid his whole life, being like, this is what you guys should do. This is how you think about it this way.
Yeah.
Is that the episode?
Well, I'm going to go fish around in my candy sack.
Thanks for listening to The Young and the Restless.
You can follow us on social media at The Jung and the Restless Pod, and submit your dreams for interpretation to thejungandtherestlesspod at Gmail.
And as we always say,
It's got electrolytes. It's got what plants crave.